Today the topic would be how to be a safe maker on Perp V2. So the outline is here. So I'll first cover why being a maker is so hard, and I'll explain how what's the strategy that we can hedge the impermanent loss. And the method is basically based on an option strategy called Straddle. So I'll explain what is Straddle here. And then I'll share a simple simulation result to show that this strategy actually works. And also I'll cover some advanced strategies. One is from weighting. And so it can cover the case where the maker APR or maker fee is not high enough to cover the cost. And finally, I'll make a simple conclusion here. Okay, so first of all, being a maker is very hard because we all know that there's an impermanent loss when we are being a liquidity provider in a pool such as Uniswap V3. So this is a chart from Finance Academy, and you can see that if you provide liquidity at 100% here, and the price goes up to like 200%, and you will suffer from a 5.7% loss. So we also have impermanent loss on Perp V2, right? Because if the price goes up, a maker is forced to have a short position, which continues to lose money when the price continues to go up. And so is the case when the price goes down. So this basically means that whenever the price moves, a maker will start to lose money. And this is very sad. So this is a chart from an impermanent loss calculator made by Henry. And it shows the impermanent loss on Perp V2. So you can see that if the price goes up, you'll start losing money. And if the price goes down, you are losing money again. And we can see that when the price moves around like 63% to 40%, it's around here, we will suffer from a 10% loss. But this is not using any leverage. So if you have a 10 times of leverage, you'll basically lose 100%, which means you'll get liquidated. Even if it's like a small range of price movement like this. Okay, so I think it's pretty straightforward to hear. So if there's any question. Okay, so I'll continue. So how to hedge the impermanent loss? So we know that we basically loses money whenever the price moves, right? So we need to find another strategy that basically earns money whenever the price moves. So there's actually a strategy called Straddle in option. So this chart is from Investopedia. So we can see that the profit line of a call option is the dotted one here. So if the price moves lower than the strike price, you have a fixed loss, right? Because you are buying the call option with a premium. But when the price moves higher than the strike price, you can exercise the call option and make some profit. And the put option is actually the same. So if the price goes down, you can make some profit. And when the price goes up, you have a fixed loss here. So combining the two options, we can create a straddle strategy, which means whenever the price moves, you can earn some profit if the price movement is large enough. Okay, so this strategy is actually, I think it's used a lot in the traditional finance because some experienced trader might use this strategy to bet on the financial statement of a company. Because when a company delivers their financial statements, you might not know which way the price will move. You just know the volatility might be very large. So you can use this strategy to get some profit. And so we can use this strategy to hedge the impermanent loss from the maker side. And also some exchanges like FTX, they have a contract called move contract, like BTC move or something. And this is basically just a wrapper of the straddle strategy. But this kind of product usually has a higher premium. So I think it's better to just go to an option exchange and just buy 2 options. Okay, so I'll pause here for a while to see if anyone has any questions.
So does the Straddle can apply to the Perp maker?
Yeah, I mean, we're using this straddle strategy to try to hedge the loss of a maker, right?
Okay.
Oh, sorry, you go again.
Yeah, just a question because the impermanent loss is not proportional to the to the delta. Is it delta? Is it yeah to the delta? I mean like to the price movement. So I mean like if you buy these 2 options, I mean actually I think you are. I mean like you actually. I mean depends on how much position you buy, but it's not really proportional. Like when the price actually move away from current price, you actually got less impermanent loss. It's not linear like an option. So I mean like so it's really hard to calculate like how much option I need to buy. So do you have an answer for this?
Yeah, that's why we are having a simulation down
Okay,
below.
cool.
Yeah, so basically you're right. The method we are using here is called straddle, and the proportion is just not the same. So you are actually earning more here on the hedge side than the loss side on the maker. So I'll show that in the simulation later. Okay, Nick.
Have you could theoretically do this with a strangle as well, right?
Yeah. The strangle is I put it in the advanced strategy. But
Is
I think
I assume a strangle would be cheaper than a straddle given.
Yeah, definitely. The strangle is actually the more correct way of doing this. Okay, so if there's no further question, I'll continue. Okay, so let's see the simulation here. I'm doing the simulation because I don't have access to a Deribit option exchange account because I can't pass the KYC. So I just screenshot I just snapshot the price at March 19. So let's see these variables and settings here. So on March 19th, the ETH market price is around 2,900. And I have this screenshot here showing that if you want to create a straddle strategy with a strike price of 2,900, the premium you need to pay is basically this number. It's 165 plus 200, around 215. So I basically write down the premium here. And on the maker side, I'm assuming that we put a range maker with 20% range. So the upper price is this and the lower price is this. And here I'll assume that the maker fee APR is 122%. Please know that this is just an assumption and you can adjust the APR lower or higher to see if you can still get profit from this strategy. And it is also not guaranteed that you can have this kind of APR during the whole 21 days. Oh, the 21 days is the expiration date of this option because the option expires on April 8. So it's around 21 days after March 19. And also the boost from the liquidity mining program will also help a lot because the APR is actually pretty good from the liquidity mining program. And I make this assumption because at that time from the screenshot on our exchange, someone is actually earning a 253% APR. Okay, so let's see the chart here. So if I buy 1 ETH, and actually we need to buy 1.1 ETH because the chart here is actually not very symmetrical. It's kind of symmetrical, but it's not exactly symmetrical. Like when you have when the price goes down to your lower price, you are actually having a little bit more position, long position than 1 ETH because your average price will be lower. So to hedge it completely, we need to buy 1.1 ETH of put option and 1 ETH of call option, which means the cost would be around $400. And the straddle chart looks like this. So you can see that this chart is basically the same with this one. So if the price doesn't move, you will lose all your premium, which is around $400. And when the price goes up, you will start to make some profit. So on the maker side, we will provide 5,800 liquidity, which is equal to 1 ETH plus 2,900 US dollar. And we assume that the APR is 120. So basically we will earn like around 400 after 21 days. That means the maker fee we earn will basically cover the premium we have here. So if we want to see the whole profit line, we can just add the blue line. The blue line is basically the impermanent loss line, which is the red line here, and plus the maker fee we will earn. So it is higher. So if we want to know how much profit we can make, we can basically add the blue line and the yellow line here. So the chart looks like this. Basically, this means that if the price doesn't move, you will not lose any money. And if the price moves a lot, you are actually earning money. Because the hedge is not perfectly hedged. We are actually earning more on the option side. And here's a link to show the result. So you guys can click here to see more detail. So again, I'll pause for a while to see if you guys have any question.
So any option trading market is fine for this strategy, right? Like the Lyra or other things. So the things we need to consider is only the premium, right?
Yeah. Basically, this strategy highly depends on the premium and the maker fee APR. So you need to do the calculation and simulation like carefully.
Okay.
Yeah, Waiting said he is using Delta Exchange for small tokens. Yeah, Deribit only has ETH and BTC option.
So Delta Exchange is decentralized or centralized? Okay.
I've got a question. Why is the P&L flat at a given point? Isn't it that past your range, your profitability should increase infinitely given it's a call and a put option?
Yeah. Because you can see that if the price goes like beyond the upper price you provide, you are basically shorting 1 ETH, right? And from the option side, you are basically longing 1 ETH from here. So if the price just keep moving, your profit will increase at the same rate where your loss is decreasing. So we are having a fixed profit here.
So that the point in which it flattens is your theoretical range, is what you're saying. So in this scenario, you're doing a plus or minus 20%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so because we are earning more on the option side, and eventually they are having the same rate here, and we are perfectly hedged here. So the profit will be locked by around 281% at dollar. So we are basically have this profit if the price moves a lot, which is around 83% of APR. And this is without using any leverage on Perp exchange. Oh, D2.
Yeah.
what is the range you use for the maker in that simulation?
In this simulation, I use a range of 20%. So its current
Oh,
price
okay.
times 1.2.
Got it. Thanks.
So I have to close the position while the option is expired, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, what strikes did you use for the call and put?
Basically the market price at here is 2,900 because we are building the straddle, right? So we have the same strike price here.
So they're both in the money. Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah, it's both in the money option. Oh, so good.
So the only risk is funding payment, right?
Actually, I think the only risk is funding payment, and also that you are not earning enough maker fee to cover the premium.
Okay, got it.
Hey, okay, D2.
So what if the price keep moving in one direction? That means you will never, because you have a small range, if you move over 20%, then you will have to like reposition your range. In that case, do you have to close your option and reopen a new one there?
I think if what we're doing here is basically we are trying to have a long position at some price that can cover the loss of the impermanent loss here, right? So
Right.
if you change your range, but you guarantee that the average price of your long position or short position stays the same or in a profitable position, then I think you can still use the same option.
I see. Okay.
Okay, Nick.
Sorry, is from memory, Deribit is settled in the currency, like it's settled in ETH, right? So how would you then hedge the ETH position? Do you just open a perp short and it will hedge kind of the underlying of that, or does the collateral amount kind of change on Deribit?
Yeah, I didn't actually think of that because I didn't actually open an account to do the experiment. I just do the simulation here. So yeah, good point. You might need to hedge the ETH risk.
Okay.
I think you said that we all have to buy 1.1 ETH put, right? So
Yeah.
doesn't that mean we have 1.1 ETH put, but even if the price goes below the range, we are shorting 1 ETH only. So that gives us 0.1 net ETH short. So if the price keeps going down, we're actually getting paid more. But the P&L here is a flat one. So do I mistake anything?
Because when the price moves below your lower price, you are actually loaning 1.1 ETH on Perp exchange.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, because the average price is lower, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, Philip.
So is it best to have the range as narrow as possible so that we can reach the saturated P&L with most possibly?
If you have a smaller range, you might need to adjust it larger because remember that we need to keep this like 21 days until the option expires. If you want to close this order earlier, you might need to sell the option. And I'm not sure in that way you can make profit.
Okay.
I guess the most ideal situation is that you set a price range and the price never goes out of the range, so that you can get the max fee. But because the prices for the options will be cheaper if the strike price is far from the current price, so that your cost will be lower, but your fee will be higher. That's my guess.
But if the range is narrowed down, the price will higher, right? If they go into in the range of your liquidity.
Yeah.
So it kind of depends.
Yeah, so that's why we need to do some calculation or simulation here. Because you can provide a wider range liquidity with a strangle strategy. Like you can move your strike price to somewhere far from the current price to get a cheaper premium. Yeah. Okay, so if there's no further question, I'll continue to the next part. So basically, the first advanced strategy here is using Strangle, which is mentioned by Nick earlier. And this can handle the case that if our maker fee APR is actually lower. So for example, if we have a maker fee APR like 60% instead of 120%, then the chart will look like something like this, because we are earning less fee. So basically the profit line moves down below, and you might lose some money here. So a Strangle strategy is basically the same, very similar to Straddle. The only difference is that you are not buying the option with the same strike price. Instead, you are buying it with a different strike price. So if I move the strike price of call option higher here, you can see the profit line will become something like this. And also you can move the strike price of the put option lower here. And because now your options are basically out of the money option, so it's definitely cheaper. So we can see that if we buy an put option with a strike price 2,400 and call option with strike price 3,400, the cost will be reduced from around $400 to just $84. So now we can see the profit line again. Basically, when the price doesn't move, because you are earning a lot of maker fee and paying just a little bit of the premium, so you are earning a lot of profit here. And when the price starts moving, you start having the impermanent loss, right? But the option here, but you cannot exercise any option in this range, so you will start to lose money. So your profit will reduce close to zero. And then if the price keeps moving, you will start earning profit from the option side. So the profit goes up, and it will again ending up with the fixed profit here. So ideally, we would like to try to buy some option where the strike price is equal to the average price of your long or short position, because that way you will be perfectly hedged. But it is theoretical. I mean, in reality, you cannot do it, because if you see the strike price here, they are actually a multiple of 100, right? So you cannot always buy an option at the strike price of your average price. So the line looks a little bit weird. Okay, so if there's any question. Okay, D2.
Could you elaborate a little bit more why we should move the strike price to the average price of our long short position? Like, what's the reasoning behind that?
Okay, so if you see the chart here, we are actually start to long. From the option side, we're actually longing too early. Like we long 1 ETH from here at 2,900. But from the maker side, we are actually start to shorting 1 ETH at some average price here. because from here we don't have any position. The position size is 0. And when the price goes up to the upper price, we have a total of shorting 1 ETH. So the average price is somewhere between here. And if we can move the strike price here, we are basically loaning 1 ETH and shorting 1 ETH at the same price. So we can be perfectly hedged here. And that's the reason.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry, I don't quite understand the profitability in between the strike prices for the Strangle. Isn't that just dependent then on the fees? So it's not always positive?
I mean, if you can completely hedge the impermanent loss, your profit would be completely from the maker fee. And maker fee would be, yeah.
But don't you still, you're still paying premium for your call and short options. It's just cheaper. So
yeah.
Theoretically, if you end within the range and it doesn't go outside of your strikes of the options, that curve or that bump in the middle just depends on fees, right? Like that line will just adjust accordingly.
Yeah. The profit.
So it can still be on a loss depending if the fees generated is less than the premiums paid.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah. So the strategy here highly depend on the maker fee APR and the premium. So if the premium you pay is too expensive, then the strategy won't work.
I've got a follow-on question then. It's basically at the end of the day, like your parameter configuration will make or break it, right? Like how do you think about that, or how have you thought about it in terms of like setting the range? Do you take some form of implied vol, or how do you think about those parameters, I guess?
I think first of all, we'll kind of need a tool for backtesting the maker fee. So that will definitely helps a lot if we have that tool, because we can know that which kind of range we can earn, like the maker fee APR. So yeah. So we're actually developing that tool in this sprint or next sprint. So after we have that tool, it will be definitely more confidence to do this strategy.
I think we can also use like how do you call it? The Bollinger Bands, like 2 standard deviation from the current price. That sort of strategy to define the range, because like using back testing can help, but like the history doesn't mean the future will go the same as the history. So maybe using standard deviation will be a lot easier.
Yeah. Okay, Philip.
I'm curious if there will be a optimized config for the P&L, and if so, can all this process be automated?
I'm actually not sure. I guess you can write a program to try a lot of different combination, and with a backtesting tool, you can find some of the best parameter, I guess.
So there might be a few. So it's not like there's a single answer which will generate.
No, I don't think so, because with a wider range you earn less fee, right? But your premium is also reducing.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Okay, so if there's no question, I'll continue. So a second advanced strategy is actually from waiting, and I think he is using this right now. And so basically, experienced traders such as waiting, they can sense the price movement, right? So basically, he can be a single side maker, which means if he feels like the price is going up, then he can provide some liquidity from like 2,800 to 4,000. So with that range, the impermanent loss chart looks something like this, because when the price goes down, you are just having a very small long position. So basically, you will not have a lot of impermanent loss here. And when the price goes up, you have the same impermanent loss with the original strategy here. So this chart, you can see that this chart is basically an inverse of a single call option. Is this line here. So which means if you provide some liquidity with range like this, you can hedge it by just buying one call option instead of doing the Strangle or Straddle strategy. So you can earn in the same maker fee while you are having the cost of your premium. Yeah, so for more detail, you can ask Waiting for this, because obviously when the price moves down, you need to recreate the order to cover the range of the current price. Okay, so I'll go to the conclusion. Basically, the disclaimer here is that these are just some concept, and if you want to actually make profit from this, it basically highly depends on maker fee and option premium. So you need to calculate everything carefully. Maybe with the tool I made here, it is enhanced from the IL calculator from Henry. And also it is hard to directly use these strategies to market make, maybe by price keeper on Perp V2, because we only have BTC and ETH option on Deribit. And also the liquidity might be an issue because normally this option exchange doesn't have enough liquidity. So that's it from me. Let me know if there's any question. Okay, D2.
So if we were going to implement this strategy, do you recommend any, how would you recommend that we do the rollover stuff?
How do you mean by rollover stuff? Like if the option expires?
Yeah. Do you wait for it to expire and buy a new one immediately, or you will allow some overlap?
I didn't think that actually, but I guess we can try to buy immediately, but you still need to make you still need to consider the premium at that time, because if the volatility is very high there, the price can be very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, Waiting emphasizes that these strategies are actually still very hard to actually it is still very hard to try to earn some profit from these kind of strategies. It highly depends on the fee and the premium.
What have you seen from a theoretical APR perspective? Because it's quite capital intensive, right? Like, I mean, the option side, if you use Deribit, then it's kind of relatively cheap compared to like a Lyra from a capital allocation perspective. But then you have to hedge as well.
Yeah, you mean hedge for the ETH, right?
Well, you have to hedge your IL and you hedge your ETH as well. So that's quite capital intensive. So suddenly your APR goes down. Well, I'm just curious if you've got any numbers on actual like net APR. I mean, taking into account like the hedging costs and whatnot.
I think I don't think I can give any numbers here because we don't even. We can't even know how much maker's fee APR is right now. Yeah, like if you see the exchange maker maker page, the API range is just so large.
Actually, Nicky, a quick question. Are we moving the money from Pricekeeper to another one right now? I mean, I got an alert. Just want to make sure because everyone is here.
I need to check which Pricekeeper is that, but I think
Yeah.
Daniel moved some money from Pricekeeper 1 to Pricekeeper 2.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so if there's no further question, I think that's it for today.